You don't connect them?
Yeah, I don't connect them. I don't connect them.
Yeah.
Can I chilling?
Yeah, yes.
So these are two generators, and they are they have one cylinder engine, and they both have one thing in common. That thing those guys are doing is BS, is bullshit, because in a generator they have what they call carburetor, and how a carburetor works is that it mixes up fuel from the bulb section, and fuel from the venturi, and then it sends air and fuel mixture into the engine, and that's how it works. And in the bowl, this is the carburetor. I don't know if I can see it. This is the bowl section, and this bowl section, this is where the air comes to. But there is a regulator here that looks like a toilet bowl. So anytime the thing fills, it will close, and then when the thing is not full, it will open back, and then fuel from here goes into here with air, and then that is this venturi, and then sends it into the engine. So using a toilet to illustrate, you already know that in a carburetor, there is a venturi section which mixes up air and fuel ratios and sends it inside the engine when needed. But there's also a bowl section, which I'm going to use this board to explain now. Inside the bowl section, there is a board just like this that regulates the fuel. Each time I drop the ball, you can see that the water starts flowing. Just like a carburetor, anytime the fuel level drops in the bowl section, you notice that fuel begins to flow into the bowl section of the vehicle. But anytime I raise the ball up, you can notice that the water stops flowing, which means that the water level is already up, which then tells you that in a carburetor, the ball section, when the fuel is up, it stops flowing, it stops sending fuel into the bowl section. So that is what it does. It keeps on regulating it up and down, up and down. So you turning up or you reducing your fuel level or doing all these kind of things won't work. So the reason why it does like this is because in a vehicle, they have ECU, they have standalone injectors, you have just injectors, and the way your air enters inside is that it enters through the intake manifold. So the ECU, which is the engine control unit, controls everything. But in a carburetor, there's nothing like that. It just works like that. So that's how it works. You don't need any of those ECUs. You don't need to do all those car hacks. This is how it works. I hope you understand now. Even the ECU controls the intake manifold. So in a nutshell, carburetors are mechanically operated devices. Meanwhile, like the throttle bodies are there, they are mechanically operated, the bowl, etc. All those things are mechanically operated. But in your vehicles, there are electronically operated devices like your injectors, ECU, and you also, in some cars, they have electronically controlled throttle bodies, which I said and you've heard. But there's a question I want to ask. If you're so smart, those of you that are doing hacks on how to save fuel in generators, like reducing fuel tap, if you're so smart, go and alter the amount of fuel that enters inside your car so that you save fuel. I haven't seen that before, but if you're so smart, go and do it now. Let your car do something. So due to fuel efficiency and the inability of the manually or mechanically operated carburetors to be fuel efficient, car manufacturers started switching from carburetors down to newer electronic devices like injectors, etc. in the late 80s due to fuel efficiency. And you know, fuel injectors are electronically operated. It's not like as if injectors don't have their own fault. They have their own fault, but when it comes to efficiency and less faults, I would say that injectors are the go-to and better than carburetors, because carburetors have more faults than injectors. Newer technology, newer efficiency, and now that they're even switching to electric. I mean, don't get me wrong, carburetors have their own pros and cons, like they are good and bad. Injectors have their own good and bad. Some people might prefer carburetors, some people might prefer injectors. It just depends on your own perspective. You know, like engine heads, some engine heads, car guys, you know, just depends if you're old fashioned or whatever. Just depends on your own perspective. I didn't say that any of them is perfect. They both have their own pros and cons. Don't get me wrong, please. And remember, the other types of carburetors like 4-barrel carburetors, etc. So those of you that are complaining about your gen eating fuel, what if you have a 4-barrel carburetor that sucks in more fuel? That means you're going to die. You're going to die. So that thing he's doing is bullshit. I believe, I'm not a medical doctor, but any medical doctor who sees that knows that that is a bullshit. But there's no need of explaining this. You can go and watch the video where I was explaining about fuel and generators. So still on the generator matter, you can see this is an overhead valve engine. So an overhead valve engine is an engine that uses push rods and rocker arm. So I've moved over to these generators. It's not like both of them are both overhead valve engines. So, but they use push rods and rocker arms, and there are only 2 valves. They just call it 2 valves inside the engine. The breathing side, where it breathes in air and breathes out air. So for the intake and outtake parts. So that's what overhead valve means. But they still are overhead valve engines. This is the big gen and that is the small gen. Why is it big? It's big because it has a big engine, big ball, big stroke. And it's just big because it can carry things more than that one. So this is still the carburetor. And those of you that do complain that, oh, my gen is eating fuel, my gen is eating fuel, all you need to do is to come, here's that section. Let me show you this other one. If your fuel is eating, your gen is eating fuel, all you need to do is come to this place here and you reduce it. You either high and increase the power. That's how your gen stops eating fuel. And if your gen 2 is also eating fuel, you can also consult your mechanic. Maybe there's a problem with your generator, and I won't even support you lowering this thing because it will make your gen to run too lean of fuel, and it can also make your engine to vibrate, causing small oil to like flow around the engine, and it can damage your engine. There are so many things that can make this. So just increase it. There's a board there regulating it, so no need. Please, don't try this thing at home. I know some of those of you on TikTok won't hear this voice now because I tried to add it and TikTok kind of failed me, it didn't work. There's a reason why the people use iron instead of nylon, because they know the engine is always hot, it's always steam. So that's why they didn't use iron. And what if something like kind of spark and caught fire and then scatter that place? All of them will just die. It's very, very harmful, you know. And this just brings me back to this day when our standard stroke our generator. You know, that day was very, very bad. We stroke our house. Imagine the whole thunder just in Nigeria. Stroke our generator house and then it caught fire.
That's modern.
Thank God went up on. Oh, there wasn't any inflammation. Just rubber that just made it to catch fire. So it's either you save yourself or you die. Don't try these things at home, I beg. Your carburetor is already fuel conservative enough. Don't kill yourself. You can imagine that early morning when the thing just stroke and neighbors just gather. What if I want to go on gen? Anything can happen. Please don't try this at home.
Catch your house. Anybody will get total protector, in go rush past. Like me, I get a rush past. If not better one. But if you better one.
So if your joint is eating more fuel, it may probably be because of the load you carry in your house. So it's just like a car, a moving car. If you fire more, it's gonna eat more fuel. But in generators, if you turn on more things in your house or in your office or wherever, it's gonna eat more fuel. So turn off those things that you're not using. And aside from that, it may be that your gen is running too rich, which means it burns more fuel more than air. It may be that it's misfiring, and maybe many faults that you just need to consult your engineer to check out. Maybe there are some things I didn't mention, but you can also go and do your research and also ask your mechanic. They will explain for you and they will tell you that those things that we do, switching this thing like this halfway is useless, because I've already explained it. Aside from that, the main point is to explain why those things that those guys are doing is absurd. It doesn't work. Aside from that, turning your fuel tap halfway is also harmful to your engine, and you also know that. So how can you save fuel? Don't cheat yourself by servicing your generators when needed and reducing the load in your house, and also leave this thing fully on so that the gen won't spoil. You get? So if there are other things that I didn't mention, maybe in our next video, if I'm doing any other video like this, I'll also explain it. Like and subscribe. I hope you found this video very, very helpful. Thank you very much.